Welcome into Sports Betting with Donnie, presented by RightWager.com.
Oh, we got a good one today, boys. We got a good one today. Welcome to the show, Sports Betting with Donnie, presented by RightWager.com. Today's August 18th, 2020. It is a Tuesday, and I'm excited, not because I won my Major League Baseball premium play yesterday with the New York Mets team total over 4.5, but it's all the attention that we're getting here with Fernando Tatis. I was going to come on the show and just be like, hey, look, great ball player, which we all know he is, but it sort of blew up this morning. And it's great how the cycle of information changes, even when you have a layout of a show that you want to talk about. Things change quickly, and I don't want to wait any longer. Let's get into the hot topics today, man.
These are your Sports Betting with Donnie hot topics of the day.
All right, if you went to bed like I usually go to bed early, and it was nice that I was able to go to bed a little bit earlier last night because of my easy Mets team total over 4.5 winner down there in Miami with Yamamoto on the mound, smoked them out quick. Third inning? Did we have the win by the third inning, I believe? I think it was. Robbie Cano's 2-run blast made it a 5-1 game. They go and score double digits. There was never going to be a sweat in that game. Beautiful, beautiful play, and we'll have another premium play today a little bit later, once that's released and we figure out some of these lineups and what's on the card. But I'm going to talk to Tatis Jr., and it's popping on Twitter, man. It's popping. And look, I'm well thought out on a lot of stuff. What's good, Nick? I'm well thought out on a lot of stuff, and I like to see both ways. But I also like to see the right and the wrong of what takes place. And I'm going to explain that to you now. It has nothing. I think Tatis is awesome. He's going to be a great Major League Baseball player. But that's not the argument in this spot, or that's not the debate, I should say. There's no real argument here. But if you woke up and you just saw what's going on Twitter, you're watching the highlights where there was a little bit of a, question on what actually happened late in the game between the Padres and the Rangers. Tatis Jr., an unbelievable talent, went yard earlier in the game, hits a grand slam in the bottom of the 8th inning when the game is 10-3. And it comes out and you see all the headlines out here, the unwritten rules of baseball. And even saying, I even was going back and forth with a Major League player, which I'm going to caption it in just a few moments here, Amir Garrett of the Reds pitcher. Remember Amir Garrett, man, he was like, you want him on your side if there's going to be a Donnie Brook out there on the field. If somebody's charging the mound, you want somebody to have your back, Amir Garrett's going to have your back out there. There's no question. But this whole new school, old school debate that we continuously have, it doesn't make any sense because there's just a simple right and there's a simple wrong. And I guess it's between me as being in my early 40s, maybe if you grew up and you're in your 30s now, maybe if you're in your 20s, or if you're watching, you're just a teenager here. The crux of the argument is not whether or not Tatis hit a grand slam. It has nothing to do with it. And if anybody has a problem with Tatis Jr. hitting a grand slam last night just on its face because of the score, that's ridiculous. And it doesn't matter if it hurt the other team's feelings. But I guess, growing up in sports, I was just brought up differently. I don't know. Like when my coach told me to do something, I did what the coach told me to do. And it's amazing to see because, again, like Twitter's not a representative overall of society. What do they say? Like 2%, it's like an echo chamber of Twitter, but they make you believe that Twitter is the end all be all. But I love when I get back, like the complete missing of the point by people makes me laugh. It really does. Like the crux of the argument is not the grand slam from Tatis Jr. at all. Bang! What a opposite way grand slam in a dome? You got to be kidding me. Kid's talented. Blowout winner by the Padres. Nobody cares if the Rangers manager, oh man, he swung 3-0. Maybe you shouldn't do that. The entire argument is when you have a manager, when you have a head coach, and you are a player, and you get a sign, you take the sign. 3-0 count. Tatis steps back. Take sign 3-0. So let's just say Tatis takes the pitch. Okay, it's 3-1. Looks down. There's no more take sign. Steps back into the box. Grand slam. 3-1 pitch. Nobody has an issue with that whatsoever. And nobody, even me, I have no issue with a 3-0 grand slam up 10-3 in the 8th inning. Zero issue with it. None whatsoever. But the problem here that comes into it is the simple fact is, what are we doing? The coach looked at, hey, Fernando, take this pitch, all right? No. Whack, grand slam. That's the only argument here. The argument is if you've grown up or you listen to your teacher, you listen to your coach, your manager, your guidance counselor who told you what to do. Look, you have to do this. This is the way we're playing this game because I'm the manager and I set the starting lineup. How about if Tatis, who bats third, right, or bats for wherever he does, Fernando, we're batting you in the fourth spot tonight. You know what, coach? I'm good. I'm going to lead off tonight. And then you go out to the batter's box and try to lead off to start the game. Your manager told you you're hitting fourth tonight. And if the manager's not right, he's going to get fired. Come on, man. I mean, it's really easy. See a couple people in here. There we go. Look at all the boys chipping in. What happens to BMOC? Nothing. You'll see him pretty soon. Happy out here. All right, let me get back to it. Just wanted to do a quick little roll count. But like nobody's like that's the whole argument here. And let's go over a couple things. The blown off signal, right? So he blows the signal off. And then we'll start with Amir Garrett, who I see him tweet this morning. I don't follow unwritten rules. So an unwritten rule is blowing off your manager? That's the unwritten rule? And I fought a lot of people on Twitter who were just, or beat writers, I should say, just writing it up as saying like people are upset at Tatis because he hit the, no, nobody's upset about Tatis for the 3-0 home run. It's just the fact that if your manager gave you a sign that said take, and you said, the hell with that, I'm not listening to my manager, I'm going to hit this home run. That's the only issue. Because if you look at it here, the Padres manager probably is the biggest issue in the game. And you saw it right after the post game. I gave the guy a take sign. He blew it off. We talked about it. He's going to learn from this. That's all. It's not a huge deal. But the people coming from the opposite side saying, I don't understand. Like, it's a 7-run game. You play to win the game. What are you guys, Neanderthals? That's not even the crux of the argument, you idiots. I mean, relay it to other things. First and goal in a football game. And I do shout out the bases loaded as if he was going to strike out and the next guy behind him was going to strike out if he actually took that pitch. There's a good chance that he probably A, still hits a grand slam on a 3-1 pitch, B, drives it in the gap, or C, ball 4, and they score another run. So shout out to the people in the 8th inning saying, you never know, down 7 in the 7th. What has that happened? 0.00000 once? One time in Major League Baseball history? Come on, man. You get with it. Football, 27-10. 30 seconds to go. You're on first and goal to 1. The other team has no timeouts left. Coach Bill Belichick's on the sideline. Hey, Tom, take a knee. Tom goes, yeah, I'm good. I'm going to quarterback sneak in the end zone. The end all be all is nobody really cares and people get upset. But why would you blow off your coach who's telling you what to do? Hey, what's the game plan here? We're up in the fourth quarter by 6. We're driving. We're on the 30-yard line. The other team has 2 timeouts. We want to run the ball 3 times and burn the clock. This is what your head coach says. But you're the quarterback, and you're going to audible out 3 times of what he says, run the ball, and throw it and give it away to the other team. No, you listen to your coach. And if it doesn't work out, your coach at the end of the day is the guy that takes the heat and gets fired, not the quarterback. The quarterback is still going to get paid. He was following orders. Same thing like the military. In the National Hockey League, at the end of a hockey game, you're up 4-1. There's an empty net, and your coach says, hey, Dave, don't drop the gloves with Steve on the other team. Let's get out of here. Let's catch our flight. Let's enjoy it and get to the next city. And Steve goes out there and Dave, they both drop the gloves and start brawling. Why would you do that? Just listen. And getting back to Amir Garrett, who we had a back and forth with. I don't follow unwritten rules. So I write back, is following your manager an unwritten rule? And then Amir Garrett says, he said he missed the sign. What if they came back? He doesn't say he missed the sign. There's some half-assed excuse at the end of the game. Maybe I'll take the pitch the next time. What does that even mean? And he says no big lead is safe. So I'm going to keep going right down the list of the back and forth here. And then he says, this is the best part of the entire argument. Would you listen to Bell if he told you, excuse me, that was what I was saying here. Listen, if you want to watch the game with unwritten rules, an unwritten rule to Amir Garrett is blowing off your manager. That's an unwritten rule to him. Go watch YouTube of the baseball in the 80s. This is new school. So Amir Garrett of the Reds says, this is the new school. Don't listen to your manager. Baseball is fun again. Get with it or get lost. Yeah, did I read that right? The new school is don't listen to your manager, right? That's what Amir Garrett is saying. So I counter back, okay. Would you listen to your to David Bell, who's his manager? Would you listen to Bell if he told you to intentionally walk a batter, or would you blow him off because it's more fun to pitch to the batter? Because that's what he's basically saying. Don't listen to your manager. It's more fun to hit a home run. Hey, intentional walkout here. Bell tells Amir Garrett on the mound in the 8th inning. And he slaps his glove down and he starts winding up and throwing to the batter in the box because that's more fun. It's more mano a mano to go head to head. What? And then we go back and he says no. And so he agrees with me and says no. But I would have done some in-game decisions where I've talked to my manager after and said I didn't think it was the best idea. Exactly. So he proves my point to me. He makes a dumb comment. I counter it. He makes another comment that basically agrees with what I was telling him. Hey, Tatis, if he had a problem with it, right? You look down, you take the 3-0, goes right down the middle. Damn, I wish I would have swung at that. Why did my coach give me the 3-0? And then the 3-1 pitch comes in, and who knows what he does with it. But after the game, Tatis sits down and goes, Coach, I'm hot out there, man. I knew I was going to get a fastball. Let me drive that bad boy in. And they say, you know what? Next time, I'll give you the green light. But, you know, it was a blowout game, 7-run lead. Didn't feel comfortable with it. Just take the 3-0. I wasn't telling you to take 3 pitches down the middle and strike out and sit down. He was telling you just to take the 3-0 pitch. It's simple. It's simple. Craziness, man. Like, don't you see the crux of the arguments? Like, the crux of the argument is so simple. It has nothing to do with the grand slam up 7 runs. 0. It's that you blatantly disregarded your manager in the dugout. You blatantly just disregarded the guy. Tatis is going to have a long career and a really good career. He's hammering. What is he, tied for Mike Trout? Or maybe even with that late home run, took the lead from Mike Trout. But it doesn't make sense. There's so many like I love to use analogies. 4th quarter, 8 minutes to go in a game. Alabama's up 45-7 versus Mississippi State. It's 4th and 8. Everybody's like, they're going to punt the football. But the punter for Alabama defies Nick Saban and fakes it himself and gets the first down. Yeah, high fives from the players and the fans at home. They're all cheering along. But Nick Saban is fuming, saying, dude, I gave you a call. Execute the play I call. And if it doesn't work, I'm the fall guy, not you. Simple. Simpleness, that's all. That's all we preach out here. It's amazing. Like, you get all the guff on Twitter, and I love it. I'm pretty much, I always like to say, undefeated on Twitter arguments or debates because I'm bringing the real question to the table when nobody like, you play to win the game. What does that even mean, you play to win the game? You listen. The whole thing, why even have a head coach at any level then? If you're in high school, you get a handoff. Hey, look, we're going to run, a trap to the right side. And you just decide to run it to the left. Like, what are you doing? Hey, coach, I thought it would be a better play if I went left. That's who cares what you thought? Coach Hand, that's what he's there for. That's why you have a semblance of a team atmosphere. And I don't know, maybe you guys grew up where it was just cool. Like, hey, coach thinks we should run this ball. Let's just, air raid and go 4 deep. What are we talking about? Like, what really are we talking about here? The whole crux of the argument, Tatis blew off his manager on a 3-0 pitch to get some shine out there with a grand slam. Young kids are going to do that. He'll learn. He knows next time. Don't do it, man. It's the same way if you have 4 stolen bases in a game and you're trying to break a record to get to 5, but it's 9-1, and the coach says, look, we're not stealing here. And you just take off and steal. Like, why are you going against the manager? And if the manager's not right and Texas came back to win because somehow Tatis struck out after a 3-0 count with bases loaded and didn't do anything with it, and the other team scored 8 runs in the 9th inning to beat you, yeah, maybe the manager might have to answer that, but then he gets fired. Tatis isn't going anywhere. So funny, man. And again, like, you even talk or go through Twitter with major league players and professional players who don't even understand what the actual debate is here. There's not an unwritten rule. There's no such thing as an unwritten rule to not listen to your coach, that this is the new wave of baseball. Come on, man. Be better, be smarter than that. Oh, you don't like it, get out. You don't like what, get out? What are you, just shaking your catcher off every single time if you're a pitcher? How about this, right? You're in the top of the 10th inning, and now who knows, we'll probably see this come up. 3-3 game, top of the 10th, you get the man on second. You're batting in the 2-hole. You're Gene Segura of the Phillies batting in the 2-hole. Bryce Harper is behind you in the 3-hole, and he's red hot, hitting whatever he is, 360. Joe Girardi comes out. That's the bunt sign for Segura. He looks down. Obviously, Joe Girardi would give it to the third base coach, Dusty Waltham. But Waltham, that's the bunt sign, Gene. Come on, lay it down. Let's get the run of the third, and let's have Bryce drive him home. We'll take that lead. Segura's swinging from his heels on that pitch. What are you doing? Baseball is not meant to be bunted. Baseball is meant to hit. Same thing. Same exact thing, man. Oh, my God. Like, I could go for days, and there's no, like, debates are cool. They're a lot of fun to go over. I love to have debates on Twitter, but it's amazing where nobody comes back with any substance whatsoever except, like, you take the fun. It's not about fun out of the game. If the crux of the argument comes down to it, if your manager says directly, take sign, take the pitch, you take the pitch. If he didn't give you a take sign on 3-0, whack it into the upper, knock it out of the baseball field. Knock it out of the park completely. So easy. Tatis, dead wrong for swinging. Dead wrong for swinging. And there's no other debate on the other side. But Tatis is a great player. The Grand Slam was awesome. I'm sure he'll do it again in his career. But again, when you upset your own manager and have to get talked to after the game, there's an issue if your own team has a problem with it. Who cares what the Rangers thought? Oh, man, that's disrespectful. He hit a grand. Who cares? Just strike the guy out then. Strike the guy out. But the simple fact on the opposite side with the Tatis Grand Slam, it was awesome, and I loved it. And I'm a team total over guy, and I'm an over backer, so I didn't have any action on that game. But, yes, I want them to keep swinging away. But you don't do it against your manager's wishes. It's just that simple. And that's the only argument there. He's going to hit a lot of home runs. He is going to be an awesome, awesome player, but he's dead wrong in that situation, and there's no other side to it here. Now, playoffs. Like, I'm looking right here. Look, like one guy. It's the Mets. Eight-run inning last year in the ninth. Moron. It's hard to get through to these Neanderthal type guys. Remember 6 years ago, an 8-run lead? I don't know. Did anybody blow when he takes signs? Did they blow when he signs in that game? I don't know. Maybe they did. Who knows? Lakers Blazers. Now, this is going to be an interesting game, or interesting series, because I think there's a lot. I'm not an NBA bettor, but I am a sports bettor, and usually we know the take of the audience as it comes around. And the take is always like the real exciting, like, public dog that comes in. Like, the Blazers stunk this year. They headed down to the bubble. Dame Lillard was going off, but they played no defense whatsoever at all. And they had to come down to the wire to beat Memphis. But now all of a sudden there's this groundswell of Portland's going to take down the Lakers. Portland's going to take down the Lakers. Now, granted, it makes it a little bit easier if you were to do that because there's no home court advantage. If the Lakers were playing 4 at home and 3 up in Portland, it would be a lot harder for the Portland Trailblazers to overcome that. But looking at the odds today, opened up at 5.5 at Pinnacle, sitting at 6.5 now. Total in the game rising, which it seems they rise just about in every game. 229 it opened at. Now sits at 233. But am I missing something here? Like, what am I missing from watching this? Like, what am I actually missing here in this series? Where is it just because ESPN likes to hype up nonsensical things like Dame's the best player in the world, he's going to win it all? I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm not a Portland Trailblazers fan. But there's a reason why one team is a 1 seed and one team is an 8 seed. And it's not like hockey, where as long as you have a goalie on fire, you can win the series. You still got to play 5-on-5 for 7 games. And the best player in the world is on the Lakers, and the best center in the world is on the Lakers. Like, I'm missing something here of a disconnect where people are thinking that Portland is going to give the Lakers a run. And again, maybe they will. But just from the outside looking in, it doesn't look like the Portland Trailblazers should be able to give the Lakers a run for their money. Good story with Melo coming back, okay, Nurkic and, Dame Dash, CJ McCollum, okay. But the Lakers are still LeBron and AD, and they're rested. They didn't give a damn about the bubble. Oh, they playing well since they got to the bubble. They didn't have no meaningful games. And if you're LeBron James, are you going hard in games that mean nothing in the bubble? Or are you going to sit back and be like, dude, when I go, what's he do? His 0 dark 30 usually gets off Twitter, gets off social media, which I don't think he's going to do this year. But the grind is on. 7-game series. Whether or not you're sweeping 4, 5, 6, 7 games per series to get all the way to the NBA Finals. Why is he going to go out in these 8 games in the bubble that mean absolutely nothing and try to take it to the other team? That's just not going to be the case. So that game, I mean, Sixers played yesterday, and tuned in here and there. They really don't have much shot to do much, and they're not really that exciting without Ben Simmons, or at least, a great matchup. But I thought they played decent yesterday. Joel had a pretty good first quarter. Then they clamped down and double team, which Brad Stevens will coach circles around Brett Brown any single time he gets to him. That's always been the way it is. It is what it is. I'm going to take a quick 1-minute break here. And by the way, boys, 2-0 already on the premium season. 2-0 only gets better and better from here on out. Easy winner with the Mets last night. We'll nail another team total tonight for sure on rightwager.com. Take a look at these notes. Sports Betting with Donnie, presented by rightwager.com.
Hey guys, Donnie here with rightwager.com, your handicapping home on the internet. As you know, we specialize in NFL, Major League Baseball, and NCAA hoops. And as always, we are 100% verified on third-party CapperTech.com. If you are a gambler, this is your place to be. Affordable packages, 1 day, 7 days, 30 days, 6 months, and even up to a year. Also, when you stop by the site, you'll notice sports content right here with the live broadcast home of Sports Betting with Donnie. There is no better place to be in the handicapper community than rightwager.com. And as always, I like to say, what side are you on?
All right, Big Ten reversal. That's what we're talking about here. Sports Betting with Donnie, presented by rightwager.com. How about it? Is there going to be a reversal in the Big Ten? What do we think on this, right? Science and data, ACC using it, SEC using it, Big 12 using science and data, going with the numbers, looking at the charts like this. All right. Kids age 18 to 23 healthy. Yep. They'll be fine with COVID if they get it. And they'll be back in a couple weeks. And we have 85 players per team. We can test everybody on campus. We can keep them close. We can keep them monitored. We can keep them working out and keep them safe and following protocols. Yeah, we'll play football. And then you have the Big Ten and their management and their ADs and their school presidents going, all right, let me take a look at this chart. Doesn't affect college kids if they get it. Safer to be on campus for the players. We can monitor them. We can test them. We can keep them involved. We can keep their spirits up, keep them healthy, and let them play a season. But I think we should cancel it. It's too important. It's really important. It's about liability. We'll let kids come back to campus and be on school and go to school on campus, but we can't play because too much of a liability here. Idiots. Big Ten is run by a bunch of morons. Big Ten got to be the stupidest conference on the planet. And the Big 12 just follows on like the little brother. You have a little brother with the binky in his mouth and the blankie and the snot running down his nose. That's the little brother of the Big Ten, the Pac-12. Hey, older brother, you don't think we should play football this year? Okay, we'll shit it out. Come on, man, Pac-12. Nobody cares about the Pac-12 anyway. And I'll stick with the original tweet that I put out a couple months ago. If the SEC was the only conference to play football in the fall, it would be an awesome college football season. Nobody cares about the Pac-12. Nobody. Since Pete Carroll left USC, nobody cares about the Pac-12. It's horrendous football. It's horrendous. Horrendous football. And the Big 12, outside of Ohio State, I'll give it. Look, I hate Penn State, but they do play decent football. And they put guys in the pros. Okay, I get it. Michigan and Harbaugh's milk and sleeping over at recruit's house, and it's all fun and games, but he never wins anything anyway. But again, Michigan's not a football school. That's a great academic institution. They don't really care all that much about sports. Now flip it over to the other schools, Nebraska, Purdue, Northwestern, Indiana, Michigan State. Come on, man. We don't need any of that nonsense. If Ohio State somehow could just break ranks with the Big Ten, find their way into the ACC, find their way into the SEC, we would be just fine with it. All we needed really was Ohio State, Clemson, and the SEC. If we got that going, we don't need the rest of college football. I'm a MAC guy. I love the MAC. MAC's cool. Good on the MAC. Never over till the zeros on the clock. Wildness, no defense, crazy offenses, and the backup quarterback is always better than the starter when he comes in the game. It's a wild conference, and I enjoy it. But the Big Ten, thinking about now, let's take a look at what could happen down the line. The SEC did everything right. Brought the kids back early on campus, pushed their college football season back to late September. You saw the schedule release yesterday. They're going to have a 10-game season, and it's going to be great. In-conference battles. You saw the opening weekend of the 7 games of the teams matching up. It's exciting to finally start to get our juices flowing in that capacity. But what's going to happen when the fall moves forward and the SEC, Big 12, and ACC are playing? Where's the fracture going to be from the Big Ten and the Pac-12? Where not only are you going to lose that next round of recruits because you're not playing football, and now the recruits see like, hey, look, we're going to be okay if we play, and you guys are telling us not to play. What's going to happen next? What happens if next year our team gets the flu? Do we cancel the rest of the season on the college campus and we don't get to play football? Or am I going to go to a school in the SEC or ACC and listen to science and data that says, hey, if we get an outbreak, we're going to be just fine as a team. It's no big deal. We'll be on campus, we'll be healthy, and we'll complete this football season. That's going to weigh big. All those kids down in Texas, all those kids down in Florida, all those kids in California that are really good athletes. Are you going to go to an institution like the Pac-12 who would just quit at the drop of a hat, even if science and math tells them that the right thing to do is to play football? Why would you ever go there? Why would you even entertain a coach sitting in your living room and say, hey, look, hey, Charlie, I know you're a really good player. I think you would be really good fit here at USC. But I got to tell you, if we have a flu outbreak, we're going to dismiss the season. Or maybe if too many people pull their hamstring, we're going to pull the plug on the NCAA season here at USC. Why would you go there? I'd immediately head down to the SEC, immediately head down to the South. It wouldn't even be close. Wouldn't even be close. Would it be a straight up afterthought at that point? Straight up afterthought. Wouldn't give it anything on there. Nothing. So Big 12 losing out, Pac-12 losing out, the SEC plowing forward, the ACC plowing forward. And I love the fact that, and again, I always get into these type things because I'm a sports guy. Every one of my monitors or TVs has a sports channel on. And you should turn off ESPN. That's just a habit. 850 on my Comcast Xfinity cable system. Goes on. 850, 851. ESPN, ESPN2. And I see like Mike Greenberg's on, and they bring on Jalen Rose. You know, and I see him do talk shows, and, you know, when I want to hear about the NBA, like it, but he just starts talking about college and college athletes. And it just, I don't know if it comes from just like a Michigan bias or whatever it is, but they put the wrong people on ESPN as experts or what their actual opinions would be, because they don't make any sense whatsoever. Their opinions make zero sense on just about every topic they have. Right on down to Jay Billis saying college kids should get paid and college is extorting these kids and it's horrible, but yet he goes on College Game Day and talks, and that's how he gets his salary paid. I mean, another imbecile going on. I'll never understand that stuff here. Taylor H., I'm down here in the panhandle of Florida, and when there's just a rumbling about football not happening, I heard about it every day from customers assurance. SEC was never down. Me too. See, I always said, to be honest, Taylor, that the Power 5 conferences, there shouldn't even be an issue in this because they have the money to test, and that's all you really need, because it's not about the cure. It's not about getting a vaccine. It's about knowing who has it, where you can safely separate them from the rest of the team or tell them they can't go home that weekend to their mom and dad and grandmother and go out and hang out with their friends and spread it around. That's all it is. Once the Power 5 conferences, who do have the money, can test 3 times a week, it's idiotic that they're not going to play football. It doesn't make any sense. And college professors and presidents and ADs, it has nothing to do with making the right decision. It's a lawyer just saying, and again, it's the crux of my argument that I talked about yesterday as well. If lawyers ran everything, we probably, if a lawyer was a president just running it as a lawyer, we wouldn't be able to get in a car, go on a plane. We wouldn't be able to take any vaccine. We wouldn't even be able to play golf or walk on a golf course because you might be threat of litigation and getting hit in the head with a golf ball. That's the way it is. If lawyers had their way, nobody would do anything. We wouldn't even be allowed to ride on a boat. You like going boating in the summer? You like going out in the bay or fishing in the ocean? That would be gone, because a lawyer would say maybe one boat out of every 3 million that goes out here might sink. We can't have anybody go on out here. Yeah, I know. I saw Nick say it, but we told people in this country, give us 2 weeks at first, 15 days to get it right and slow the curve. And then they told us it was a month and 2 months and 3 and 5 months. But the thing that I do get a laugh out of the most is maybe the kids in this country, the 18, or I should say high school, let's go 14 all the way to 25. Maybe they are the smartest ones. Maybe when they look at the charts and say, all right, I'm 21, I'm not overweight, I'm not obese, I don't have severe asthma, and I don't have a heart condition, this isn't going to affect me one way or the other. I'm going to go out to the party because Sarah's there, and I like Sarah, and I want to talk to Sarah at a party. I want to drink a beer with Sarah. I want to see if Sarah wants to be my girlfriend. That's what I'm going to do on Friday night this week. Because you know why? If I do get coronavirus, I'm not getting tested just as a normal college kid who's not playing sports. I probably won't even know it. I'll go on with my life. And in 2 weeks, when it passes my system, I will have had no idea that I even had it. But you know what? Sarah's now my girlfriend. So it was worth the risk going out to the party. Maybe as a country, we should have lied to everybody and said, hey, kids, look at this. And just put it, because, we could do some crazy things. Like, back in the 60s, saying we went to the moon, filmed it on a sound stage. Like, we could do some crazy things and trick people. Why not do it again now? Why not just change the documents and say, look, kids are dying. If a teenager gets this, there's a 25% chance that you will lose your hearing, that you will lose your eyesight, and you might have a heart attack and die. Then the kids would stay home because they don't want to have a heart attack, die, or lose their hearing or even their eyesight. They don't want to do that. But when a kid looks each and every day at who gets infected and who the issue is with, maybe the kids in this country are really the smartest and the brightest and our best shot at the future, where they go, I'm 19. I'm going to the party. Why? Because I won't be affected by this coronavirus. I won't be. So maybe they are the ones listening to the science and data the correct way and saying, hey, herd immunity, man. If I get it, maybe my best friend will get it. Maybe the 2 people in the dorm across from me will get it. Maybe my roommate will get it, pass it to me. But you know what? We probably won't ever know about it. And we'll live our lives and we'll be college students, and away we go. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's what's going to happen. But for the SEC moving forward, the ACC moving forward, the Big 12 moving forward, even some of these smaller conferences like the Sun Belt and stuff, there's a lot of schools that say, we're going ahead with it. And then you see those headlines, like yesterday, like, the blue check marks out here rooting. Hey, 23 girls from Oklahoma State, they got to get quarantined. Okay, well, those 23 girls won't be active on campus for the next 2 weeks. But in 2 weeks, those 23 girls will be back in being active on campus. It's time for some Major League Baseball here, about 30 minutes in the show. I do want to go over some things that went over last night, which obviously Tatis was the big news. But stay tuned here. Good people at Pub Sports Radio do a lot of good stuff here, growing their channel each and every day. Support Pub Sports Radio right here. Sports Betting with Donnie, presented by RightWager.com.
Hey guys, Donnie here. Let me tell you a little bit about PubSportsRadio.com. It's not just all about sports. If you like the latest in movie culture, check out the Film Room live on their YouTube channel. And also, if you like to get down, listen to a little bit of music, and certainly talk about some of the latest hits out and also some classics, check out Turn Up the Treble. But guys, I gotta tell you, if it's drinks that you're looking for, if you're thirsty, check out Southtown 101 Tequila, Beer, Vodka, and all your favorite spirits located right here at Southtown 101. But if you're hungry and you're in the mood for some burgers, wings, mozzarella sticks, and much, much more, Southtown 101 has you covered. Come check us out right here, Southtown 101, in the heart of San Antonio, located on 101 Parita Street. PubSportsRadio.com has it all for you. Food, drinks, music, movie culture, and sports.
Those good people down at Pub Sports Radio. Jeff runs a good crew down there. We have a lot of fun and do videos just about daily with them Monday through Friday. Hot topics of the day. Yesterday, we filleted Daniel Snyder of the Redskins and his buffoonery, fakery. Look, when I have a hot topic, I'm putting it out. That's my opinion. And it is open up for debate, even though I will win that debate if you come back at me with any nonsensical stuff. Major League Baseball quick recap yesterday. Baltimore's string of bashing the baseball around ended yesterday with only 2 runs. They had a team total of 3.5, minus 140. It was juicy, but I still thought it would have been a good play. I didn't end up going with it as a premium play or put it out on any picks that I did play of the days. But I thought they would have a good shot at getting that because those bats were hot. They got cooled down by Ryu 7-2 yesterday. The New York Yankees continue to win on the run line, but they do stay under the total, 6-3 final. I thought Boston had a couple shots here in this game to do some damage, but the rains came down at the wrong time for them. They only ended up with 3 runs, 6-3 final that stays under. How about a walk-off by Dansby Swanson for Atlanta? That was one of the games we did on sportsbookreview.com, went over it. I was waiting on a 5-team total to come up. It never did. So Atlanta sat at 5.5, but they ended up covering that team total late in that game, getting a 7-6 victory over the Washington Nationals. The easiest play I had last night, the one I just circled the wagons on early in the day, waited for a lineup to come out, and that was the New York Mets team total over 4.5. Was our RightWager.com premium play of the day. One easy. The Mets end up scoring 11 runs in that game, but covered that team total relatively quickly. Even knocked Yamamoto out, I believe, after an inning and a third, maybe even just a full inning, because I know he left the game in the second. and I think Gesellman left in the second inning also. But the Marlins do get their team, or pushed on their team total. I believe theirs was 4. The Mets was 4.5, and even if you had 5 with plus money, still covered easily in that ball game. And it goes over the total with 15 total runs. Chicago White Sox, I missed this one yesterday. I gave it as a free play of the day on rightwager.com on a video, and that was the Detroit Tigers. I thought they would be able to get to at least 4 runs versus Gio Gonzalez. Got 2, I believe, by the 4th inning, but weren't able to put any more across. But again, it's not for the lack of trying. It's not like they went 1 for 3 or didn't get any base runners. I believe they're like 1 for 9 or 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. You can't do that if you're going to hit a team total, but all you can ask for a lot of the times is shots to win some of these games, and that certainly did have a shot in that one. I should have just flipped it over and said all those right-handed bats going against Boyd and have some, launch ability. I believe the White Sox hit 6 home runs and only scored 7 runs, which is pretty hard to do, but still hitting their team total, but not getting the over in the game. Whistler, 4-1 winner over Kansas City. And also in the shortened games there, St. Louis and the Chicago Cubs, 3-1 in the first game, and 5-4 winner by the Cubs in the second game in that one. San Diego's talked about, put up 14 runs in that game, ended up winning by 10. And that was Tatis going yard twice, including a grand slam in the 8th inning. Colorado and Houston, Freeland and Belak. I don't know what's going on. Houston continues to win, but they continue to win in ways that I didn't think were going to be possible for them. Not the greatest starting pitching staff anymore, but their bullpen has been absolutely outrageous. Outrageous. They win 2-1 in that ball game. Arizona, just like I thought, up after 5 innings versus Oakland. Zach Gallen's been a really good pitcher, really good young pitcher on the season. And then a team total wager I gave out as my sportsbookreview.com Major League Baseball show play of the day. The San Francisco Giants over 4 runs. They get the 6 runs, but actually lose on a walk-off home run 7-6. Told you there'd be a lot of runs in that game. Got to 13, only needed 9.5. And then the Dodgers do what they do. A, winning by run line, but B, minus 311 in that game and putting up 11 runs. My God, it just doesn't stop with them. It just doesn't stop with the Dodgers. They're an amazing, amazing baseball team to watch. But you do have a full card today, which is great. On the Tuesday, I'm going to be watching a little bit of Flyers hockey a little bit later today. 3 p.m. starts. So hopefully they can get a nice 3-1 lead. But I do have a busy afternoon, 1:30 p.m. We'll do the Sportsbook Review Major League Baseball show once again today, both myself and Jason Radowitz. I'm going to film a video this afternoon for Pub Sports Radio, then also put a free pick play out, also while making sure we cross the T's and dot the I's on another premium play winner for my clients at rightwager.com. That certainly is going to be on deck. Some hitting spots like Eflin and Godley. The Phillies finally got a day off. Boston, Godley's been awful, but that over-under is at 11, and the Phillies should be able to hit Boston. Boston's bullpen hasn't shown up, and neither has their starting pitching. I don't see any differences there tonight. Mejia's on the mound with Miami, and the New York Mets with Peterson. So we go back to the well. Not a lot of information on Mejia. Was a decent starting pitcher in the minor leagues with a low xFIP. Doesn't have all that much, experience here in 2020 in Major League Baseball. So sometimes I like to shy away from those. But Baltimore's going to run out Wade LeBlanc versus Toronto. Toronto a little bit banged up, but they should be able to get some hits here. But once these lineups come out, I got a couple afternoon games too. Colorado and Houston, Senzatella and Greinke, 9:03, 9:04, San Diego and Texas. That's a 4 o'clock start. And then San Francisco and the Angels. The Angels should be able to hit today. But again, it's one of those early afternoon games, which sometimes starters get the day off. But in this quick sprint of a season, especially if you're the Angels trying to make up ground, you can't really afford to actually do that. So that's a decent spot to look at as well. No real late night games. The latest game, first pitch, is going to be St. Louis and Chicago. I did see one game get canceled, which was Cincinnati and Kansas City, out of a quote-unquote abundance of caution out here. So we'll see what takes place in that game. But a good card today. We should be able to win money. Free play lost yesterday. Premium play was an easy winner, and so was my play of the day video on sportsbookreview.com on our Major League Baseball show. I'm going to start hitting that ticket hard and start counting my chickens in the hopes of another profitable day here. I do want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching the show. Be back again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Sports Betting with Donnie, presented by rightwager.com. Enjoy your afternoon.